Well, as we continue to move forward with our discovery of our past, the next of our interviews is going to be with Don and Sibi Kraemer. Don and Sibi have been amongst us here at Faith now for 49 years. I think Don's going to mention in the video a couple of months shy of 49 years here, not only in Huntsville, but also at Faith. And they bring a wonderful experience of life and just a great expression of some significant moments in our life of a congregation and school here at Faith. So just to remind you, I ask them three fundamental questions. The first question is what memories are you most fond of? The second question is, what were the significant moment in the life here at Faith Lutheran Church? And thirdly, what is your hope for the future? Now, with Don and Sibi, they had a couple fond memories as well as a few significant events here at Faith. So I hope you'll learn a lot about our life here at Faith through the words and the lives of Don and Sibi. And improving. All right. So what do you think? What is your most fond memory?
Go ahead, Sibi.
Of one memory?
No, it can be more than one.
Okay.
If you've got more than one.
Well, gosh. When we came here, we were a young family, one child, and I guess just coming into a congregation that was very friendly and accepting and, accepting, I guess, would be the best word to use. Made you feel welcome and made you want to become part of that group for those people, part of that ministry. Yeah. There were many fond memories along the way, for sure. Gosh, how do you begin?
Well, it's difficult. In a couple of months, we'll have been here 49 years.
Yeah.
And to put 49 years in a capsule is a rather difficult thing to do. But yes, when we moved here, obviously we were fairly young. The church was very small. We were a town gown ministry. We were right in the middle of campus. It was a church that was started by students, to be exact, in the mid-50s, and this was 72 when we moved here. But I would say probably my fondest memories were camps.
Yeah.
We started a camping ministry within our congregation. And at one time in the summertime, at one of our camps, I know we had as many as 80 people. All of our children grew up together. They grew up camping, swimming, playing, doing all those things, and it was a bonding experience that they had. And I think that's probably my most fond memory.
Well, and that brings to mind when you talk about growing up together, we came here at a time when most women in the household didn't work. So our vacation Bible schools at that time were 2 weeks long, half a day, and we had lots of children and lots of mothers that volunteered and did the work that needed to be done.
Okay.
And that certainly was a fond memory because the kids loved it. Even being on campus where we were limited as to where we could go and do things, we had a wonderful 2-week experience. Yeah.
We had 4 parking spaces.
Yeah.
For our church.
You probably heard that.
The rest of the parking was provided by the university, and they were very, very cooperative. It was very beneficial. But yeah, getting sort of to what Sibi was just talking about that time, a couple of more things that were very fond memories to me is we used to have potlucks. And it was not like potlucks where we go, oh, let's go out and get some church's chicken to come to the potluck. This was when people prepared meals. And it was always great just to walk into that room and look at that table with all of people's favorite dishes that they would bring to the potluck. And other things that we would do would be, we had ice cream socials. And it wasn't go buy Bluebell, which is great.
Right.
But it was, everybody made ice cream.
Wow.
And we would have a half a dozen different varieties.
Probably more
Anyway,
like a dozen.
yeah, maybe a dozen. So kind of like our soup suppers that we have now.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Which,
And those took place at people's homes too, just out on the driveway. We'd set out the ice cream and the kids were all playing and running around the yard and, it was just a really fun family experience, yeah.
Cool.
So those, and the Christmas programs were always good. Yeah.
Cool. So what could you point to as being a significant event in the life of faith? Or two, or three. Looks like we've got a few more than just one.
Lots of those too.
well, I would say the first significant event to me was, as I mentioned, we started out as a town gown ministry. We were subsidized by the Lutheran organization at that time, ALC, LCMS, and oh my goodness, the third branch. I can't remember what it was even.
AOC, one of them was LCA.
LCA, that's correct, yeah.
Okay.
All three of those
Okay.
as a campus ministry, but as a town gown ministry. But we were under the sponsorship of the Missouri Lutheran Church. And eventually, we were able to grow and work our way to get rid of that subsidy.
Okay.
So that the district is able to use that money in other areas of ministry. To me, that's one significant event. A second significant event, I think, happened a number of years ago when it was one of the hurricanes. I think it was Ike.
Yeah. Rita.
Rita, yeah, maybe it was Rita.
Okay.
If you weren't here, it was almost surreal. The interstate highway was completely packed, jam-packed, stopped with vehicles running out of gasoline, etc. Everyone trying to escape and to get north or to get somewhere.
Right.
All the hotels were filled. Every place was filled up. There was no place for them to go. We had just finished our gymnasium.
Okay.
And one of the members, although we were not certified as a place for housing, said we have got to do something for all these people. And so what we did is we opened up the doors. People went out here on Highway 30 and just waved folks in. And we had decided we could take maybe 50 or 60 people and house them overnight in the gym. And finally, I think we got to over 200.
Oh my.
And we said, you gotta stop. We just don't, there's no space. And so we were able to provide shelter, food, things of that nature for them during that process. And then to me, maybe the third one was one that is not one of joy, but of difficulty. And that was a number of years ago. We had a situation occur in our congregation that for probably your average congregation, I would think, would have divided that church and maybe split the church. We were able as a congregation to work through that and cause very little division. And I think that is because of the relationships that had developed in the congregation itself.
Well, I think when we moved off campus, and located here, that was a pretty significant event for this congregation because it gave us more space, more parking. It was like we could grow again, you know, because we had adequate facilities. The school started shortly after we moved out here, and that certainly was significant and you know, a ministry that goes out into the community. People know about us, and it's been very successful.
Yeah. Yes, it has. And you were one of the first.
I was. Yes, I was one of the first teachers. We wanted certified teachers, but we didn't have any money to pay certified teachers. So there were a few of us, 3 or 4, that volunteered to be those teachers. And eventually we were paid, but it wasn't any big deal. But yes, I was one of those.
Cool. And also it started out as a day school.
Yeah.
Right.
Preschool.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And we added a grade level every year for however many years that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So certainly significant.
Yeah.
And a blessing.
Probably the most significant event was starting the school.
Yeah. Sure.
I like that. Right, last one. What do you see as your hope for the future?
I think for me, I would hope that Faith Lutheran could be better known, more known, be out into the community more.
Right.
I'd like to see us have more community events where we are even featured in the newspaper.
Gotcha.
So people know about Faith Lutheran Church and School. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, to me, it's just simply growing.
Okay.
I'm not talking about, when I say grow, I'm not talking necessarily numbers. Numbers are a part of that. But just growing as a church in our community, growing in our relationships with one another here in our congregation. Quality more than quantity, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like a plan. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
I've got one more comment to make. When we first came here back in the 70s, at the sanctuary on campus, there was a rock wall up behind the cross.
Right.
The church was an A-frame.
Yes,
right.
It was an
I've seen
A-frame.
pictures of it. So.
Yeah, and the back wall was river rock.
River rock.
River Rock. Got it.
And there was what would you call it, an image
Okay.
from the rocks where you could see Jesus. And was he in prayer, or just you could see the figure of his head? And
wow.
And that was always kind of a special memory.
It's one of those that if you just looked at the wall, you didn't see it.
Right.
But when somebody pointed it out to you,
you can't miss it.
It was definitely there. Yeah.
You couldn't miss it. We attempted when the university bought that property and we built here. When they decided to demolish that church, we attempted to be able to recover the river rock.
Oh, okay.
And we wanted to move it here to use it on this property.
Got it.
For various things. But anyway, those rock disappeared over a weekend.
Oh, no.
So we were unable to retrieve it.
Wow. I do remember G.B. Springer telling me that he wanted the glass from the windows.
He got it.
And he got the glass from the windows.
Yeah, he got the glass from the windows, and of course, the cross up here from that church.
Oh, okay. That's right. That was the front.
Yeah,
Somebody told me that was
outside.
the cross on the outside wall.
On the outside wall, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.